Nice. So I tell you, talking about these classics, one thing I wanted to touch on, since we both own some older cars and still do, the market nowadays for classic cars, especially right now in 2019, I feel like it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the classic car market is, I would kind of argue, the highest it's ever been, as far as both availability and pricing to get into classic cars. What do you think's going on right now?
Well, it depends on what your definition is of a classic. If it's the standard 64 through 72 muscle car that 10 to 15 years ago the prices were really through the roof, I think, and they've kind of leveled off or come down since then. But the 70s and 80s car, well, and even in the 90s now, they're really starting to pick up, and at least I think for their value going off what people have been paying for them recently. It's double what it was just a few years ago, I think.
Yeah, because you used to be able to get in a third-gen Camaro or an 80s Chevy truck for a good price, and now it's double, triple that. I mean, I think my most recent other Camaro was a 91 that I bought 3 or 4 years ago for a couple thousand. Now I don't think you could get in it for under $4.
That's probably about where it'd be now, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, do you think it's... I feel like it's just the economy. I feel like it's just the economy. Everything's going great. The market's great. Employment's great, arguably. I mean, things are going great. Do you think that's really the main factor in everything being so expensive? Because everything, let's be honest, everything is... And when I say everything, I mean like older cars. Let's say 1990 and older. I feel like it's... And again, like you said, it depends on what it is. But as far as muscle cars, classic trucks, short bed, single cab trucks, everything is really hot, and it's hard to get into it right now. If you're looking to buy your first hot rod, if you're starting out, if you're kind of a smaller budget, I feel like it's a bad time.
Yeah, again, it depends on what you're into too. Like if you're into this, square body trucks and third gen Camaros like I am, then yeah, now is an expensive time to get into it. But you get into some of the less popular vehicles, like say the Chevy Celebrities that I'm into. Those things are still dirt cheap. They're not going to go up. They're not really desirable, but now the problem with those is they're all gone. You can't find them anymore. They're old enough to have been junked. So,
well, that's because you've got half of them.
But every manufacturer has those models that there's going to be people that like them. Not a large group of people, but they're going to have a following, and those ones are going to be cheap, but hard to find now. But the Fox body Mustangs and stuff like I can't really think of anything in the 80s of Chrysler that people are going for now. But
as far as Chrysler stuff, I mean that's just always expensive. But 80s Chrysler, yeah,
because they had the Shelby Omnis and the Chargers, the little two-doors, but
yeah,
I don't think those are really bringing in a whole lot of
not
money
yet.
compared
No,
to yeah.
I think those still have their time to come. The front-wheel drive Chrysler stuff, and some people really get into that. I think those they haven't had their time yet. I think it's coming, but yeah, I mean you mentioned Fox bodies. Fox bodies have been expensive for years.
Well, yeah, they were very popular long before the third gen Camaro was popular. I mean the Camaro still had the reputation of being a mullet car.
Yeah, and I think they still do. A lot of people still really don't like the 80s Camaros, but when we say Fox body, we're talking about, let me make sure I get this right, 79 to 93.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yep, that's right.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not a Ford guy, but I know that.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, I try to at least get my Fox body years right, but that platform, I mean, it's desirable. People want those years, and I think part of it, because those were, they're really high right now. The Fox bodies are, but they were high even 5 or 6 years ago, 7 or 8 years ago, and I think it's because that's a lot of car, because they're strong. They're fairly good for what they are. I think a lot of it was just because it's good. It was cheap-ish, so it's kind of like, because third-gen Camaros, they're not the fastest things in the world, and that kind of sounds right. I feel like I've been at some swap meets and seen like original AAR CUDA hoods, and they're like $2,000 just for the hood.
Really? Yeah, they didn't make a whole lot of them.
I'm impressed you remember what they cost in '09. I can't remember what I had for breakfast yesterday.
I don't know. I can't either sometimes, but I retain some things.
Yeah, but it's So, I mean, do you think, because everybody has their own opinions about where the market's going for classic cars. A lot of people think the market is good, and I guess it is depending on which aspect you're coming from, versus buyer versus a seller. But, I mean, do you think the market's going to stay like this? Do you think it'll settle back down? Where do you think it's going? What do you think the market's got in store?
I think it's going to continue to go up.
You think?
Yeah, and recently we've seen kind of a decline in the nut and bolt restoration cars. They don't demand as much as they used to, and it used to be people, they'd have trouble getting decent money out of their their street machines and whatnot. It was far from stock. You had to find the right buyer that liked the exact same style you did, but these days now that's kind of what people look for. Is they look for the ones with the custom touches and the modern niceties added into them, and I think those are definitely going to continue to kind of increase.
So you're talking about kind of the resto mods and pro touring and whatnot.
Yeah, those are here to stay, I think.
Yeah, I mean it definitely seems like that. I think trends come and go. I mean, I think pro touring cars they're definitely having their time. They're up there. I mean, I've tried to build a pro touring Camaro. I kind of call it a faux touring, because I tried to budget build it as much as I can and cut corners where I can.
You're just still in the steps of it, though.
I'm trying, but I feel like it's faux touring, because pro touring usually, when people hear pro touring in the car world, they associate that with high dollar.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, high dollar, and everything on mine is blue collar, cheap. Now there's nice parts on it. I've put some money into it, but I mean, I've tried to keep things affordable where I can, which brings a good point. You talk about you just mentioned that you thought nut and bolt restorations, like frame off restoration cars, like these 6-figure cars. Do you think they're going down right now?
Some of them maybe, yeah, because there was, for a long time, the Tri-5 Chevy and the 55 to 57, it was really popular, and I think they've kind of lost some as well. A lot of it, though, is that generation has kind of started to pass on, but
yeah, a lot of things are generational, definitely.
But generally speaking, I do believe that the true to original nut and bolt restorations, they're kind of being less desirable, less popular, which equates to lower value, unless you've got one of the ideal muscle cars with special for that year powertrain, or special order or something. Those are always going to be expensive.
All the special code cars.
Yeah.
Now, I think a lot of that is because, well, I don't know which one came first, but patina. Patina has never been hotter than it is right now.
Yeah.
In classic cars. Everybody wants that original, rusty, maybe not even rusty, but just that original paint, untouched body. Now, a lot of people still want basically a resto mod underneath, but, I mean, patina has never been hotter than it is. I mean, when we went to Good Guys recently, I can't tell you how many cars I've counted, and this is in the past couple of years, I guess, how many original barn finds, like actual barn finds and field finds I've seen with just a coat of clear on them, because that's what's in right now. What do you think drove one another? Do you think the high-end builds and people not being able to afford that drove patina in, or do you think the patina kind of coming in drove those high-end builds out? Because I don't even know how to answer that.
It's a hodgepodge. I mean, and there's two kinds of patina. There's pleasing to the eye patina that everyone wants, and then there's rust bubbling, chunks falling off. I don't think that's ever going to be popular. But
yeah, I know what you're talking about, because the patina, obviously you'd prefer to just patina paint-wise, and structurally the body would all still be there. A lot of the cars I see at shows now, the patina, they're missing a couple inches out of the fenders and the quarters, and I can deal with that, but I know what you mean. A lot of the cars are missing a gap that big on all the quarters and fenders, and they still clear-coated, and they call it good. And I mean, I guess it's okay. It's pushing it for me, but it's just what's in. It's just people going with the market right now. But I'm curious to see how long that's going to last, because I like it. I do like the patina, and I can't tell if that's just me jumping on the bandwagon with what's cool right now. But
well, might not be a bandwagon if you like it just because you like it. And a lot of it, I like those where, if it's a legit barn find and they pull them out and just kind of dust them off and clear coat it. I like that because, like, say, an old pickup truck from the 60s, if you do all the paint and body work on it and make it look new again, then it's kind of like you're erasing half of its heritage. Where if it's got the original look, you maybe not you've been there for it, but you kind of see like it might have a story to tell, and it adds the look of it. But the stuff that they go into such time and all this detail work to make it look like an actual barn find, I don't really see the point now. I'd just rather take that labor and just put a nice shiny paint job on it.
The fake patina.
Yeah.
I think that's putting it nicely. I've heard some choice words to describe those cars. Yeah, a lot of cars are doing like that. People will take a showroom car, a nut and bolt restoration car, and they'll strip down the paint. They'll paint it to look old. I see it a lot on trucks.
Mm-hmm.
Like 50s and 60s Chevy pickups, Ford pickups, yeah, people fake the patina, and it'll still come out looking good, but you can tell. You can just tell that it's not. And at that point, it's kind of
normally, yeah. Some guys are really, really, really good at it, though.
Yeah, and it looks good, but it's at that point, it's I don't know because I try to say, whatever makes you happy, you should do it. I try to live by that theory, but yeah, a lot of times people take it too far because they'll take a car that was an award winner and they'll say, well, patina's in right now, and they'll cut it down. They'll cut it down, chop it, and make it look like a bad paint job. And I don't know. I don't know if that's the right.
Well, see there, I think you hit the nail on the head. If that's what you like, then do it. But I don't agree with doing it just because other people like it.
Yeah, exactly. But like I said, I'm not a paint and body guy, so kind of how I buy a car is how it's going to be. I think I've never had a car painted, actually. Now that I think of it, I've never sent a car to a body shop. Never had a car painted.
It's expensive.
Yeah, it's expensive, and I just don't trust anybody. So how I buy it, if the body, I mean, I can change out body panels, but yeah, as far as sanding, blocking, painting, everything, cutting it down, I can't do all that. So how it comes is how I get it.